my name is Danielle Heinert, and I am excited to share my marketing plan for Heinert TechKnow. First of all, just a brief executive summary here. This marketing plan will address the state of Heinert TechKnow as a computer business right now and offer recommendations for the company over the next 2 years. It will cover specifically market research findings on target markets and what they want from a computer, computers Heinert TechKnow currently markets and should market in the future, current sales office location information, and then recommendations for future expansion in offices and Salesforce, advertising recommendations, Heinert TechKnow overall performance in comparison to competition, and then overall market performance and future performance recommendations. All right, starting out with our situation analysis, starting out with customer, just taking a look at the 5 segments that make up the market. We have the cost customers segment, which is a very large group that wants an easy-to-use computer that is not expensive and can do basic office functions like word processing and bookkeeping. Then there's the workhorse segment. This is the largest group, and it also wants a decently priced computer that's easy to use for word processing, bookkeeping, and data management typically. There's the traveler segment. They want a decently priced computer that's portable because they travel all the time for work, like salespeople. Innovator segment, that's a small group that wants a very high-tech and high-performing computer for complex work like engineering and design type work. Price is not necessarily a deciding factor. Mercedes would be the segment that wants a very high-performing computer, and they use it for engineering and manufacturing. This is actually a very small segment. And they also use it for process control. And this is the segment that will pay for it if you can provide it. Okay, so just kind of looking at each of these segments and what their various needs are. The cost cutter needs minimum complexity. They want to not have to be trained at all before they use the computer. They want it to be secure from viruses, attacks, want them to be low priced. Want to be protected against loss of data. Again, easy to use, so kind of similar to that first one there. Savings in operator costs so that they don't have to have a lot of training. Easy to set up and use wherever in any office setting. And then just, more productive operators and competent salespeople is also very important to this segment. Workforce needs. They also like easy to use computers. They want something that's multi-purpose so that they can do lots of different things on it. They also want savings in operator cost. They also want it to be secure from viruses and attacks. Service available everywhere is really important to them. Fast service and support response time, very important. Monitor easy on their eyes. The more storage space, the better, so we want to have a good hard drive there. Customer service is really important to them as well, and having fast processing and output. All right, the Mercedes needs. So they want ultra fast, can handle large tasks. More storage space is better. Easy to tie into local area networking. They want high performance over the price. Doesn't matter to them as long as it does what they want it to do. They want to be able to see lots of different things at the same time, so having a large screen would probably be wise. Fast service support response time is also important. They also want it to be protected against loss of data, able to work on tiny graph details, so high resolution, fast processing and output, and then also quick response to commands is also important to them. Innovator needs. So this is the one that wants high tech. So the vendor needs to be a technical leader, has to be the technical leader in the industry. Can see work on multiple programs is important. They want fast processing and output, high performance over price, easy to tie into local area network, handle large scale tasks and technical tasks, protected against loss of data, secure from viruses and attacks. The more storage space, the better, and then also quick response time to commands is important to them. All right, and then there's the traveler needs. The computer needs to have a small footprint and size because they'll be traveling with it. Want to be able to connect to the office when out and about. Be able to use it on the road. Needs to be portable. Again, protected against loss of data is also important. Needs to be fast with the network and the internet. Monitor needs to be easy on their eyes, secure from viruses and attacks. More storage is better, and also they like it to be recommended by others is important to this segment. Okay, so on to the next part of the situation analysis, which is company. So the strengths of TechKnow, Heinert TechKnow, is that the Tech Travels is a good product. It has consistently been high selling in the traveler segment. Tech Fancy has been rated as good for the innovator segment. TechKnow 2.0 has been rated as acceptable for the cost cutter segment and the workhorse segment. And Technovation is rated as acceptable for the innovator segment. Consistently, Heinert TechKnow has had good financial performance each quarter, generated a profit for the last 2 quarters, and it has had an above average cumulative total performance at 17.571 for the market. Weaknesses. Heinert TechKnow did need to discontinue TechWorks in the 6th quarter because it did not sell well in the workforce segment, did not meet their minimum requirements, so decided to get rid of that. Possibly should have gotten rid of it sooner. Market share has gone down from 26% in Q6 to 17% now in Q7. A lot of money is being spent on advertising in comparison to other companies. The net profit went down a little from Q6, 982,096 to Q7, 821,623. It's priced a little too high on average compared to competitors, and also there's not enough salespeople or sales offices compared to competition. All right, so the company goals. What does Heinert TechKnow want to become? Well, we'd like to become the top selling computer company in the travel, innovator, and Mercedes segments, and also become the industry leader in technology advances. So looking at context, so the environment that we're operating in, there are 3 regions. We're in North America, Latin America. We have offices in Toronto and Chicago. We have not expanded to Europe, Middle East, Africa yet, but we hope to here soon. And we currently do have offices in the Asia Pacific region in Tokyo and Shanghai. The state of the PC industry right now, there are 4 other firms with the same resources that entered the market at the exact same time as Heinert TechKnow did 7 quarters ago. We are at the introductory stage of the microcomputer industry, so this is really the forefront of this industry, which is really exciting. We're selling through company-owned sales offices directly to business customers, and we're only selling to the business sector. All right, so Heinert TechKnow and competitors' cumulative performance. So this is basically how we're matched up here against our competitors. So Heinert TechKnow is first in financial performance, which is awesome, second in total performance, and then third pretty much in everything else, in marketing performance, marketing effectiveness, investment in future, and wealth. Heinert Tech is first in total performance and market performance and generation of wealth. Second in financial performance, and fourth in marketing effectiveness, and fifth in investment for future. So Heinert Tech is right now doing better than every other company. However, Rise is actually had a very good last quarter, and they are now number 1 in marketing effectiveness, second in market performance and generation of wealth, third in financial performance, fourth in total performance and investment in the future. So while everybody else kind of went down a little bit in performance last quarter, Rise actually went up. Adroit Inc. Is second in marketing effectiveness and second in investment in the future, third in financial performance, and fourth in all other areas. And then last is Smart Box, which is first an investment in the future, but fifth in all the other areas. So as you can see, we're really we're doing well financially, which is great. And total performance we're number two. However, in all the other performance metrics, we're right in the middle, smack dab in the middle at three. All right, so our biggest threats clearly are Buchanan Tech and Rise. Buchanan Tech and Rise both have greater shares of the market right now compared to us. There's more demand for their products and they have more products in general. Buchanan Tech is a 32% demand rate now. Oh, I'm sorry, share, excuse me, 32% share of the market. They have 6 different products. Rise has 35% of the market and has 5 different products. Buchanan Tech surpassed us in Q6 for share of the traveler segment. They now have 40% and we have 30%. Their brands are rated higher in all segments except Mercedes and Traveler. So that is our biggest threats and why. So on to market analysis and strategies and taking a look at the target market. So the first market that is our top priority that we've identified is the traveler market. This was our second priority to begin with, and workforce was our first, but moving forward now, traveler is our first priority because we have sold so well in that segment. So basically, this segment, is on the go for work. That's the type of a customer that we're talking about. These are typically salespeople. It is a medium-sized market, so it's not super big, but it's medium-sized. And it can be very profitable because they seem to pay a decent amount for PCs. And they're at the time that we started the company, there were less PCs out there to compete with. There still are less of those than the desktops, but there are becoming more and more PCs. However, it's still fairly profitable. And then they're also very into the latest technology, I would say, because laptops are the latest technology, which does fit into our company goal of wanting to be, the top in technology in the industry. The innovator is going to be our second priority, which is new for us. They are more of your engineers and workers who use computers for designing, things like that. It is a medium-sized segment. It is very profitable because they will pay for high tech. So it can definitely be very profitable. And they want high-tech computers, so it definitely fits into our company goal of wanting to be an innovator ourselves. Mercedes is number 3, and they are the segment that is the smallest. However, they can be very, very profitable because they're willing to pay what they need to get a top performing computer. It is generally used for manufacturing and process control, and yeah, they need the best of the best, so it definitely fits in with our company goals because we really do want to be the best of the best. All right, so on to products that Heinert TechKnow should market and currently does market, but some suggestions of some added products as well here. So Tech Travels one is one that we currently market, and it's a portable laptop for the travel segment on the go. It's in its 7th quarter life cycle. It was one of the first brands that we started with. In comparison to the competitors, the original version has everything except games and the security suite. It's rated acceptable for the travel segment. Need to get to good and very good are our goals here. And how we're going to do that is by making another one called Tech Travels 2. And then we're going to add the games and the security suite. And also, we've been investing in some research and development for getting a slim, stylish case. So we're going to add that into that as well for the second version of it. But the specs for the first version, it's got high-speed computing power, ultra-capacity hard drive, standard networking, auto backup system, 14-inch monitor, office software, all the other softwares for business graphics, presentation, database, and bookkeeping, and then it does have just the standard keyboard and mouse. So I believe by, adding the second version on there and then adding in some of the specs that the other competitors are having, plus an additional slim, stylish case, will really make us pretty marketable. All right, the next product here is Technovation. So we have the Technovation 1 going right now, and it is designed for the innovator segment for their high-tech pleasure and for their uses. The second quarter life cycle for this one. And the original version has everything the competitors have except ultra-fast computing power and Office upgrade software. So again, we'll create another version that has those. Plus we'll add in games and high-resolution desktop, which is also something that we are spending money on with research and development. So the specs are high-speed computing power, ultra-capacity hard drive, standard networking, 21-inch high-resolution monitor, auto backup system, office software, business graphics, presentation, database, bookkeeping, engineering, and manufacturing, and then it does have the expanded keyboard and mouse. All right, and then we also have our Tech Fancy product, which is currently being marketed, and it is designed for the Mercedes and Innovator segments. It's in its second quarter life cycle, and it's rated higher than the competition in the Mercedes segment. It's rated highest, but in the comparison to Picatin's Tech's Art Troper Supra, which is the next competitive product for both the Mercedes and Innovator segments, it does not have office upgrade software, bookkeeping software, or ultra-fast computing power. It does have games and faster network speed. So proposed new specs would be to add that stuff. So add the ultra speed computing power, which it used to be high speed, and then keep the ultra capacity hard drive, the high speed networking, auto backup system, expanded keyboard and mouse, 32 inch high resolution monitor is what we're proposing instead of the 21-inch. All software packages included. Used to have all but the bookkeeping, but we'll add that in. And then also the Office upgrade and security suite. So basically just putting everything and anything into the Tech Fancy to be the best of the best. Okay, so on to price. So Tech Travel, the original, is priced on average a little higher than most of the competitors at $3,500 with a $100 rebate in the Americas, and then $3,400 with a $200 rebate in Tokyo. To be competitive and not appear like the product is worth less, we should keep the price the same but offer a larger rebate by adding another $100 to get more people to buy it over the next quarter and future quarters, I believe. Tech Travel 2 should be priced a little higher with the added specs at probably about $200 more. Then, so to not go too over the price of the segment is willing to pay. There should also be a $100 rebate for this as well. Technovation, the original priced at $3,300 with a $50 rebate, and in Tokyo, which is in the Americas, and in Tokyo, which is almost $300 higher than the competitors in both these areas. So to be competitive and not appear like the product is worth less, the price should stay the same, and the rebate should increase again significantly this time to $300. And then Technovation 2 should be priced higher with the added specs to $3,500 with a $200 rebate in the Americas, and then $3,400 with a $200 rebate in Tokyo to stay under the price the segment is willing to pay in these areas. All right, so Tech Fancy is priced at $4,000 with no rebate in all areas, which is about $1,000 higher than its competition. So with the added specs, the price should increase to 4,200 with a rebate of 300. So we're definitely increasing that rebate, and this is definitely still lower than what the segment will pay. So we're still under that, and we can still kind of, make another version of Tech Fancy if we decide in the future, which I would definitely recommend, and I will here in a little bit. So we definitely have some room to grow there in the price area. All right, place Heinert TechKnow current sales offices. So right now we have one in Chicago. It was opened there in the beginning because initially the target market was workforce, and the 12-month potential demand was high in the city for that. It was also number 2 for traveler. So it works to keep the office opened here, since that is now our number 1 target. On top of that, it's also number 1 for Innovator and number 2 for Mercedes. Toronto sales office was opened there, also because the target market was workforce and traveler, and the potential demand was high in both for this city. It's number 2 for Innovator and still high for travelers, so it's definitely wise to keep that one open as well. In APAC, we have Tokyo. This office was open because the demand for traveler is the highest, and it still is, along with being the highest for Mercedes and 3rd highest for Innovator, so it's a good spot to be in. And then Shanghai, this office was open this past quarter because there was a product we were trying, TechKnow 2.0, that we thought would sell big for cost cutters, but it did not. So it would be advisable to close this office now, since the demand for the target segment is not high there. And we've also decided to discontinue TechKnow. Heinert TechKnow future sales offices. So Paris, this would be a great location since the 12-month potential demand is the 3rd highest for Mercedes, and it's fairly high for Traveler and Innovator. The other competitors are also set up in the city and seem to be doing well in our targeted segments. Abu Dhabi, this would also be a great location since the demand is pretty high for all 3 segments, and actually neither of the 2 big competitors, Heinert Tech or Rise, have locations there. So I think it'd be great to kind of get in there and get started without any competition if we can. Salespeople. So I believe it would be wise to start out with 5 salespeople in each office. Heinert Tech has about 4 or 5 salespeople per office, and Rise has 7. We increased our sales staff in all of our locations to 8 this past quarter, and that's the highest any company has, and yet we are not outselling them. So since this past quarter can be a bit slow, we'll see how the next quarter goes before laying off any salespeople, but that could be a potential. All right, promotion. So advertising for Heinert TechKnow. The advertising for Heinert TechKnow, Technovation's product was rated as acceptable for Innovator. So it would be wise to revise the ad to include some more information about the added specs to hype up how much more high tech the product is compared to others. The advertising for Tech Travels is acceptable, but not as good as the ad for Adept, so it would be wise to use their ad as a model and also add in info about the added specs. Regional advertising would be the most effective, which is evident since the competition seems to be more focused on that now than the local advertising and is doing better. And regional advertising kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone compared to local. And then right now we are outspending all the competition on advertising, so it would be wise to cut expense here and only focus on what works. Rise is only using regional advertising and had a really great quarter last quarter, so it makes sense to reduce mostly in the local advertising area but keep the regional. All right, so overall performance, Heinert TechKnow is right in the middle right now in terms of performance in comparison to the competition. Our cumulative financial performance is good, and it's the best in the market. It's at 19.787, but it's we are third in all other performance areas on the balance scorecard. So total performance, we're at 17.571. Financial, we're at 19.787. The bigger the better, obviously. Market, we're at 0.324. A good score would be zero point 0.4, so we're not super far off, but we do have a little ways to go. Marketing effectiveness 0.716. A good score would be 0.8. Again, not super far off, but we can, and I think we can get there definitely in the next few quarters here. Investment in future 3.427. Good score is greater than 3, so we are doing well there, and I think it'd be good to continue to invest. And then wealth. So we are generating a profit, which is good. The goal is to get to 2 so that we can earn more than has been invested. So we do have a little ways to go there. But we are generating a profit, and we have now for the last 2 quarters. So, recommendations for the future of Heinert TechKnow. Just continue to study what Rise is doing at this point in all capacities, since while everyone else's performance went down somewhat last quarter, Rise's went up quite a bit. Continue to aggressively expand sales offices and get into territories first before competition. Offer selling incentives to employees to encourage productivity. I think that'll definitely help. When we increased to 8 people in the offices, we thought that would cause sales to go up, but I think there needs to be some added incentive there. Do not price new products at the highest the segment will pay, so that there's somewhere to go from there with new and improved products. Initially, we did start out kind of pricing products fairly high for the segments and what they would be willing to pay. So moving forward with new products, it would be wise not to do that. Create 2 versions of basically the same product for each target segment, which we've started to do, with a few added features to one to see how they both do against each other in the same area. I think that would tell us a lot too. And then the next step is obviously to create a second version of Tech Fancy. Reduce costs on fruitless local advertising and focus mostly on regional, since it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. And aggressively invest in R&D to get the latest technology for the innovators and Mercedes segments, and to become the number 1 innovator in the computer market, technologically speaking, since that is one of our main goals. And those are my recommendations, and this is the conclusion of my presentation, and I look forward to hearing from you as to your thoughts on the future of the company.